Okay, so here we are in London for Manchester Rocks, and we're here with Tony and David.
Hello.
And they're from Hell. Literally. Not still
there.
Yeah. So, here we are. You're supporting Sabaton tonight.
Indeed.
And you played with them before, I believe.
They were on at Rockstad Fallon
in
Sweden, the festival, but they were on the day before we played.
Right.
Yeah, so we've technically been on the same bill as them, but not actually on the same day.
We've actually been on the same poster.
Yes,
that's true. Counts.
Yeah, not that far down below either, I believe.
Yes, it's a good billing, yeah. We actually, on the following day, we actually topped the second stage.
That's even better.
Which is quite nice.
I mean, your
victory for Britain.
First album came out this year. It's been 25 years in the making or so. 3 years in the studio. What's the reception been like?
Overwhelming, really.
Amazing.
I would say. I mean, we thought it was good. I mean, I've kind of stood outside the band as a fan for years and years and years. I've always bored the pants off anybody who cared to listen about the band my brother was in that should have made it and should have been big. So I always thought the material was really, really strong. And when we heard the finished products, it really moved me. And I thought, if it has this effect on anybody else, it could really do well, this. And I certainly picked up the vibe from Andy that he thought it could do well. And I thought, if he thinks it can do well, we might be in. Yeah.
I mean, when this first started, it was a kind of, well, let's get together and play a few songs and we'll record it and see what's for old time's sake. Then it was, well, we'll knock something together and it can something for ourselves and for friends, family, and if anybody wants it. Then it went, well, we'll put something out on the internet. And then when the finished album was when it was coming together, all of a sudden we thought, wow, this is amazing. And of course, then Andy sent a few rushes out to various places, and funnily enough, Nuclear Blast came on board first, and they said, look, when it's done, give us first refusal, which we did, and they messed about, and basically didn't really show that much. So Andy went to a few other labels. There was Century Media, Candlelight, Metal Blade. And we were just about to sign to...
No. We were just about to sign to...
Century Media. And all of a sudden there was this huge buzz and there was 5 labels literally arguing and fighting and up in the ante each time and basically, what deal do you want and we'll see what we can sort out. Right at the last minute, Nuclear Blast came along with a fantastic deal. And because she happened that a lot of the other guys at Nuclear Blast were kind of fans of the band from the early days, it turned out that we decided to go with them, and it's kind of worked for us.
Yeah, it's been great.
Absolutely. And I believe you did win an award recently, or at least a reader poll.
Well, we've won one or two. Well, we haven't won. We were in Sweden Rock. We were number 1.
Album of the year, Sweden Rock.
Metal Hammer. We were number 6, which is quite good when you read the bands above us. It's like record collection at us, which is
Megadeth, Anthrax,
Machine Head,
Mastodon, and Opeth above us. So there's no shame in that.
Absolutely.
Not at all, no.
Yeah. I mean, for playing live, you did one gig in Nottingham at the start in March, and then you were straight onto a European festival tour with Metal Fest. How was that to go from such a small venue to these big crowds?
It was absolutely fantastic. I mean, we didn't really get a chance to think about it because we'd done the home gig and it went absolutely brilliantly, didn't it?
It was great night. Yeah.
And we were all of a sudden on a plane and out there, and you've got to do it.
Yeah.
And the reception was tremendous. We went down great. Obviously, we were kind of nervous, I suppose. More adrenalised than nervous, I think. Once the first show was out of the way, and we'd gone down really well, we thought, hey, this is going to be all right. And it was. It was a brilliant, brilliant time for us.
It was.
And then you had the homecoming at Bloodstock in August.
That's right, yes.
That was amazing.
Topped everything so far.
Yeah. We didn't expect that.
Yeah.
It was. Apparently it was the biggest opening crowd ever for a band at Bloodstock. The reception on the official polls, we were voted best band of the day, and if you like, technically on votes, best band of the festival.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you polled more votes yourselves than the rest of the bands combined for the Sunday, and outperformed everybody else of the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, that's
brilliant.
That's just tremendous. I mean, off a debut album, that's amazing. You look at the strength of the bill we were up against as well. To come back with that was just phenomenal. I think it's what they call a fairy tale in the trade.
Absolutely.
Ironically, we didn't actually think we played that well. Because I mean, we're all very, very self-critical, and we take what we do really seriously. And everything about this band is done to a level of quality rather than anything else. And by our own standards, I don't think it was our best performance, was it?
Well, it was pressure. It was what we got there. We had
we didn't get on the stage till 20 minutes before the show time, even though we were told to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't moaning about anybody, but that puts you under, because it takes us 10 minutes to put our gear on.
Yeah, we've still got jeans and t-shirts.
So we weren't in the best frame of mind
20 minutes later.
Stage, really.
But we actually hit the stage early, didn't we? That's, fair play to
I was still
crew,
getting changed when the intro music went, because I thought they might delay it because they knew that we'd been really, really late getting started, which wasn't our fault. But no, I was just putting my lenses in and the intro went. I ran onto the stage, and when I did the sound check with the mic 10 minutes before, the field was empty. So the first words that came out of my mouth when I came onto the stage of Bloodstock were nearly, you can imagine. 2 words and the second one was me.
lots of people have said, we were kind of standing there on the front rail, and it just looked so brilliant and professional. You kind of ran on and just struck the first chord. Yeah. Well, that was us running from the dressing room.
I mean, you've got a pretty unique style on stage. I mean, how did the use of the boom mic come along to leave your hands free?
Was it Accent's idea?
No, it was Andy's idea.
It came from somewhere else.
I think I saw Kit Wigley using it back in the 80s and 90s, and just decided it would be a worthwhile experiment. Because obviously Dave, he's spent his whole life acting, and he's absolutely fantastic at what he does. And just having the ability to have 2 hands free to gesture and to use props and all this kind of stuff, and we just thought it'd be a cool idea to try it out. And fortunately we've got an endorsement deal with Sennheiser who do the boom mics. So they kind of set it down for us. We tried it out and never looked back, have we?
No, it just feels normal for me. I always feel being an actor, if I've got a microphone in front of my face, there's something between me and the audience.
Yeah.
And as an actor, it's about communication. That's what you do. It also means I can hold a pint of beer in both hands at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well balanced diet.
Yeah.
It means you can hold 1 pint of beer, put your hand in your pocket, you'll get your money out to buy our beer.
Dream on.
Now, you've just come back, I believe, from the Swedish Metal Cruise, a festival held on a cruise ship out in the Baltic Sea. How is it playing on a ship as opposed to playing on the land?
I can only remember some of it.
It totally depends on how rough the crossing is.
Yeah.
We just hit the Baltic and it was like a mill pond. There have been other. Andy did it with Sabbath about 3 years previous to us. So there was that much swell on the ship. They had to actually turn all the cabs on the stage sideways.
When they started,
just rolling round on the wheel.
They were swapping cabs as it was going on. All these leads and all the guys were getting closer together. But no, the cruise went very well.
It was great.
It was a really good. Really good experience.
Do you get to play more or see more of the bands being on the ship rather than everything being spread over an arena?
Yeah, you did. You got to see everybody, which was nice.
I saw Doc Funeral, saw Anvil. I was on the front row at Exodus because they're one of my favourite bands. I was there in front of Gary Holt, kind of giving it this one.
I saw Helix, a band I used to be in 2 years previous. Yeah, we saw most of them actually. It was a great bill and a great festival. The atmosphere on the ship was unbelievable. The Swedes were so friendly. It was a cracking day.
And now you've got 1 gig at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Where's that?
That's at MFN. It's another local. The first gig we did. It's a local place to us. And it's like our home gig, if you like, on New Year's Eve. It's a bit of a party. It's because a lot of the people that come are old fans from years ago. But once again, there are people coming from all over the world. Is it Brazil you sent the tickets out?
Yeah, we've sold tickets to 18 different counties in the UK. A lot of people who saw it at Bloodstock making the trip from all over the UK to this particular one.
That's sold tickets Germany, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a bunch coming from Germany. We've sold tickets to Brazil and Portugal and Sweden and Denmark.
I've been talking to one girl. She was due to be seeing you on the Darkness Over Christmas tour. Leaving the gig, getting to the train, airport to get to New Year's Eve gig.
Yeah. So, I think it's Sabine, is it?
It is.
Is it really? Yes, we know that's Sabine.
Yeah, we know Sabine.
Hi Sabine.
So I take it tickets are still available, or is it?
There are still some tickets left, yes.
But not very many, so get them in soon.
There's not many, no.
And
it's very flattering because the travel arrangements that people have got to make are very difficult for New Year's Eve. If they've got to stay over somewhere, then they can't get home the next day either. And the fact that people are prepared to do that to see us is just humbling, really.
We believe that for the true metal players, real metalheads, camping is available, but
don't tell her that. She will have me out there.
The full lunatic mental show, fire breathing, all the pyros,
and some new things as well. Which
three brand new songs that have never been heard before. Because we started putting together plans for the second album now. So it'll be a preview of three songs plus another album from
Amen.
yeah.
So next year, new album, tour, festivals.
We've got 1 or 2 festivals in.
The Accept tour in the spring as well.
Right, well, we'll
Talking about next year, weren't we?
yeah, next year, so, yeah, tour, full UK tour.
We're working on it. We're talking to a promoter at the moment, but nothing's finalised yet.
We hope to.
The only tour we've actually got confirmed is the Accept one in Europe. In fact, the only UK show we've got next year booked, period, is Hammerfest at Prestati. And apart from that, we don't have anything else booked for the UK at all. But so we're talking to various people.
Right.
So,
and when you go to Prestati, make sure you take your sleeping bags.
is it that bad?
It improves things, as a veteran.
Okay.
The mattresses are leak-proofs. No, they've got new mattresses now. They just make sure they're covered so they don't get any stain.
Oh, no.
Right, nice to see you live.
So, final question. If you could tour with anyone, either as a headliner or as a support act, who would it be?
It's got to be Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath. I mean, in actual fact, they've got a bit of a talk.
We want fan pressure on their management company to put on. I think it would be a great support for Black Sabbath. I'm not just saying because I'm in the band. If I wasn't in the band, I'd still be saying hell, it would be a great support for Black Sabbath. And I really think they would. We would. It would.
The Nolans aren't together anymore,
Well,
aren't they?
No, unfortunately, no.
That's it.
Nor the Wombles.
No, but I mean, coming back down to reality, I mean, this is the first time we've played with Sabaton, and it's an honour to be here. And we, because we're at effectively a very early stage in our career, I mean, any tour with any sort of, any kind of major headline band is just a privilege and a joy to do for us. Because ultimately, any support band, you sort of taking advantage of the headline band's years worth of graft and hard work to pull the kind of audiences that they do, so anybody really, including the Nolans.
Right, well, thank you, Kevin, Tony, David,
Thank you.
and Tim. Not leaving you over there.
Nice.
Thank you very much for speaking to us.
No problem at all. Thank you.